but the question is, why isn't the Chinese room a good argument?
Yeah,
Maybe you even want to
just
explain briefly what that is, because it's
I mean, so first of all, is it even an argument? It's a thought experiment, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, you know what I mean. So I think even this might be like helping Searle a bit, like to evaluate it as an argument. It is maybe unfair to Searle because he doesn't really present as argument. It depends on a thought experiment that's trying to like sort of like reveal our intuitions about things,
right? Illumine something, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so the idea in the Chinese room is that you've got a guy who does not speak Chinese, right? And in one window of the room, he can't see out of the room, come questions in Chinese, right? And he doesn't, he can't understand them, but they have like a code on them that he can go to a book that matches the code and that gives him the right answer to the Chinese question in Chinese. He just writes that down and puts the slip back out the window. Okay, so from the outside, it would appear as if there's like Chinese fluency going on inside the room. Okay, but really, there's nothing in the room that actually understands Chinese. You got a code book, right? You got the guy which doesn't understand anything; it's just written down, right? You've got you've got the guy in the room who doesn't understand it. You've got the slips moving back and forth, right? And so, like Searle thinks, you're gonna look at that and say, well, that's not what it is to understand Chinese. Okay, mm-hmm. All right. And at certain points, they'll say, because the guy in the room doesn't understand it, no part of it understands it. And okay, fair enough. But once again, like no part of my brain understands English either, right? Okay, but it does seem this whole organism does, right? And I think if you then say, yeah, but you're not just your organism, you're something immaterial too. Okay, that's all well and good. But then why can't I say that about the computer or the Chinese room?
Right.
Did you see that? Right.
So again, maybe an argument against physicalism, but not necessarily against certain theories of mind.
Maybe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. And I would say, I don't think I would even say like, like the parts of my brain and, the parts of the Chinese room, they're not like the problem with like, they're not what is thinking, I would say, because they have to be externally related to something. Okay. This is a semantic thing. But what that amounts to metaphysically is there's a lot of options there too. So like to what it is to say it's an argument against physicalism, I agree, in a strict sense of physicalism, right? But I don't think it gets you to dualism or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Right. Good clarification. Thank you, Professor.